All right, I think we are live. Hello to whoever's out there. Thank you so much for joining my live stream today. Today I'm going to be answering your questions and just hanging out and having a good time. I decided to do a live stream today because I've been kind of sick and it's been hard for me to do like a full-fledged shoot and film and edit and do everything like that, but I can pretend like I'm not sick for like an hour or 45 minutes or something. So we are just going to go with that and have a good time. So we have 3 people. Hello. I am so happy you guys decided to join. By the way, I do have my computer right down here. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking at my computer. And then I also have my little notebook here. This is what it looks like. And this is actually where I write down all the Ask Teph questions that I get. So I'm also going to be looking at this. And so you are welcome to ask your own questions in the chat as we're going along. And I'll also read some on here. Oh, thanks so much for asking me if I'm feeling all right. Right now I'm feeling mostly good. It's earlier in the day for me, so I don't feel too tired yet. I don't actually have a diagnosis, so we're not sure what's going on. It's kind of weird. I've been spending most of my time just kind of laying low and hanging out with the cats, reading, listening to audiobooks, stuff like that. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks here. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thanks so much for keeping up on Snap. I appreciate it. I've been trying to snap as much as possible, but I feel like my Snapchats are really boring right now because it's basically like, hey, I'm still alive, I'm still sick. Oh, sometimes I talk about other stuff, but that's pretty much what I talk about right now. So let's go ahead and get into the questions in my little notebook. Just so you know, I can only see the chat as it pops up. So if I don't answer your question and I go on to another question that was posted after yours, just repost the question. It's entirely possible I didn't see it, especially because I can't see the questions while I'm looking at the camera. So I need to figure out how to prop my laptop up. I guess right here would work pretty well. I need to figure out how to make that work. But for now, I just have it on a lap desk. You can see right there. So, oh, hey, go away. Go away. I don't want you here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with the questions. And here I'm just going to be marking them down with my pen once I answer them. So the first one is, what inspires you? And this question was asked by Karen. And I think this question was meant to be in the context of YouTube, is my best guess. So if you were gonna ask what inspires me to do YouTube, then I would have to say that everybody out there inspires me to do YouTube. Everyone who watches my videos, all of my YouTube friends, all of the other creators on YouTube. I'm gonna make a video going into this in a lot more depth in the future, but one of the things that inspired me initially to start YouTube is that I learned a lot about makeup, which helped me grow a lot of self-confidence, and I just felt this pull to do my own channel, to kind of do for others what others did for me, if that makes sense. As far as in life in general, that's a little bit harder. My mom definitely inspires me a lot. She's so kind, so giving, and she just works so hard, and she's been through some stuff, and I just really appreciate her. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's true that I really appreciate her. My YouTube friend Kimberleah inspires me, not only for the YouTube, but also in life in general, because she just works so hard and she's accomplished so much. And when I grow up, I want to be like her. That's something my dad always used to say. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, or I want to be this when I grow up, coming from a 40-year-old man. It was always kind of funny. So that is basically what inspires me. So the next question comes from Leah, or Leia. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. And she asks, where were you born? I was born in Northern California. I'm not going to say exactly in Northern California for privacy reasons, but it was in kind of the extended Bay Area around San Francisco, probably about a 2 or 3 hour drive. I don't know exactly because I don't get back down there too much. And then when I was 5, my family moved up to Portland, and I've lived here ever since. So since I don't really remember Northern California, I pretty much count myself as a native Oregonian, even though it's technically not true. In Oregon, they look down on people from California, at least to some extent. Like, you don't want California plates on your car. Not that people will be mean to you, but they'll just kind of judge you a little bit. But yeah, I basically grew up here. Oh, so I just saw it flash up. I'm sorry I didn't see who it said. They asked who won the giveaway. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. Let me go ahead and look it up. I have contacted the winner. They did contact me back confirming that their information is correct, since I do ask people to contact me back within 72 hours. Otherwise, I'll pick a new winner. So let me take a look here. All right. So Stacy won the giveaway. If you're watching, congratulations, Stacy. I am still in the process of putting everything together. I've been dealing with some health stuff the past couple of days, and I haven't really had a long time or a lot of time to package everything up and put it in the mail. But I hope to in the next couple of days. I'm sorry you didn't win. That actually brings something up that I kind of want to ask you guys. And I'm going to be perfectly frank and honest with you guys, in a way that I don't think I typically am in my videos. Not that I lie, but as far as where I get my stuff for the giveaways, a lot of times it's makeup that I've gotten from Generation Beauty. And I know I've talked a few times that I get so much makeup, there is no possible way for me to actually use and enjoy it all. So I pick over a few things that I want to try, and then I put everything else in a box, basically. And then when I want to do a giveaway, I choose from the box, and I put together what I think a good giveaway package would be. And then I also throw in, if there's something that I, see at the store that I really liked or something like that, I'll buy it and add it in as well. So because of the way I do my giveaways, I do have the option of doing bigger giveaways or having multiple winners winning smaller prizes. So I definitely want to do another giveaway around the holidays. I'm thinking it's going to start probably around mid-November-ish. I'm not going to do the 30 days of giveaways again. That was crazy, and maybe someday, way down the road, if I'm ever a full-time YouTuber, I will attempt it again, but I definitely can. But anyway, what I want to know from you is, would you rather I do one big giveaway or maybe 3 or 4 smaller prizes? So there's just a question. Does everybody get free stuff at Generation Beauty? So yes, the simple answer is yes. So I guess I'll go a little bit into how Generation Beauty works, because I know I'm super fortunate to have gone as many times as I have. Okay, so we have 1 vote for doing more smaller giveaways so more people can win. 2 votes for doing more smaller giveaways. Okay. Okay, so where was I going to go with that? Okay, so Generation Beauty. 3 votes for smaller giveaways. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do for the holidays. So as I said, probably mid-November is when that's going to go up. It kind of depends on a bunch of different factors. Obviously, I am not up to doing much at the moment, so we'll see how that works out. So Generation Beauty, if you are just a regular attendee, when you check in, usually they give you some sort of tote bag, but I think they've stopped doing that, and they give you your badge, and then they have a card. I could actually, maybe I should do a whole video on this, or a whole live stream or something. Let me know if you want to see that. And it has a map, and then it has a little coupon for each of the brand booths that are there. So you go to each of the brands. Some of them have long lines, some of them don't, just depending on what they have at the booth. And typically, you can exchange the coupon for some kind of free item. Now, some booths, they just take the coupon and they give you whatever it is. Some booths you have to like take a picture and post it on social media, so it kind of varies. Booths that are giving away like foundations and stuff like that will often color match you. Sometimes they don't give anything away, so it really depends. But no matter like what the booth does, you still end up with like a full bag at the end of the day. And a lot of them have other things like different tote bags that they give you. I've gotten some like hair ties, just some other random cute things. And then some booths have things that they're selling, usually at a discount. Tarte, for instance, usually sells items at Generation Beauty at a discount. I don't think I've really ever gotten anything from them because I think it's usually like a 10 or a 20% discount. And I'm spoiled because I worked at Sephora a couple years ago. The normal Sephora discount is 20% and then 30% during like a 2-week period during November, since we don't get like the VIB Rouge sale or the VIB sale, or didn't. I shouldn't say I work at Sephora because I don't. But I don't know. And then like I can get a 10 or 15% discount or between, you know, with the VIB Rouge sale. So I don't know. I just feel like Tarte's like big focus on selling as opposed to like talking to all these beauty lovers just isn't kind of where I want my focus to go. And then also they don't always bring enough for everybody, which is like, I don't know, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But I love Tarte as a brand. I just don't like the way they do their GenBeauty booths. Okay, sorry, I'm saying so many times, and it's something I'm really working on because as I'm going and editing, it becomes really tricky to edit all of the ums out. So I should do like an counter and then a like counter in videos and see how many it actually is. That would actually be really funny. Okay, so how the actual floor of Generation Beauty is set up varies on the location. I have been to Generation Beauty in 3 different locations. I've been to LA 3 times, I think. I've been to New York once, and I've been to San Francisco once. And so obviously they all have different event spaces. I haven't been to New York since they moved to their new event space. But from what I remember from the time I was there, it was in a much bigger hall when I was in New York. So it was a lot less crowded in a lot of ways, and I liked it a lot. I don't mind crowds per se, but I don't like the jam-packed being in crowds, having to push through people sort of thing. I also feel like the people in New York are a lot more chill than the people in California at GenBeauty, which is kind of funny because you usually think about the West Coast being more chill than the East Coast. And working in customer service, I've noticed that, at least in tone of voice, but it's funny that GenBeauty is the exact opposite. And then San Francisco was in an event space on the pier, and it was 2 floors. So you had 2 big halls, and again, there was a lot more space in between booths, so it was a lot more of a relaxed feel. As far as GenBeauty LA, they've always done it in the same, or at least when I've been there, they've always done it in the same event space at LA Live, and so they do it on, I think it's the top of a parking garage, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if the top is usually a parking garage or it's usually an event space, but they construct this big tent. It has air conditioning, even though it doesn't work very well because, you know, you're out there. And because it's in a big tent, there isn't as much room. So they have to pack the booths a lot closer together, and it's a lot harder to, you know, see people. And then also, not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like a lot of YouTubers are in and around the LA area, so you do get a lot of other YouTubers there, which can be a plus because I've met some awesome YouTubers at Generation Beauty, LA specifically, but I've also met some YouTubers at San Fran and New York. But it also means that if you're looking to talk to brands, it can be a little bit harder to actually get that face-to-face time. Now, speaking of beauty creators, there is another part of Generation Beauty where you can get things, and that is at the creator cocktail party, which is usually the night before. I've been to 2 cocktail parties. 2 cocktail parties? Yeah, 2 cocktail parties. Oh my goodness, why can't I even keep this straight? Yes, I've been to 2 cocktail parties. One was awesome, one was a little bit of a kerfuffle, but that's okay. So at the GenBeauty cocktail party, if you're part of Ipsy-OS, and by the way, if you are a beauty creator, I highly recommend you join Ipsy-OS. I think it's just ipsyos.com, completely free to join. You just link your YouTube or Instagram, and they review it and then let you know if you're approved or not. And there are a lot of cool things about being a part of Ipsy-OS. what I would say one of the best things is being part of the IpsyOS Facebook group, because there are a lot of great other beauty creators there that want to answer your questions and just talk about different, you know, social media beauty related things. And so it's really nice to have a place to go to talk about all those things and answer or ask all those questions. Whereas if I were to ask a lot of those questions on Twitter, and sometimes I do, it's just not as concentrated number of people that would actually have an answer for me. So it's one of the Facebook groups or creators that I'm a part of, one of my 2 favorites. And there are also some other benefits of being part of IpsyOS. One of them is that sometimes you can get free tickets to Generation Beauty or discount tickets, and then sometimes you can get invited to the cocktail party. And if you're going to Generation Beauty, it is not guaranteed you're going to go to the cocktail party. And if you're a smaller channel, I have a smaller Instagram. In fact, I'm guessing it probably won't happen. What happens in IpsyOS is they have a 2-tier system. I forget what the base level is, but that's what I am. And if you're over 10,000 subscribers, you're a Glow member. So you get a couple of extra benefits to that. You get first dibs on the Gen Beauty free tickets and the cocktail party free tickets. You also get to use the IpsyOS filming space in LA, which I've heard is really cool, but I've never actually gone there to film. And then sometimes there are also mentoring sessions and other events that you get invited to if you're a bigger, have more of a social impact. So there are a lot of cool things that you can do as part of IpsyOS. And as I said, it's completely free to join. So highly recommend if you have a YouTube or a Facebook I think it's YouTube and Instagram that they go off of, that's centered around beauty or lifestyle. So anyway, now that I've gone through that whole thing, cocktail party. So I mentioned I went to it twice, and it is more of a smaller group. So there they have a bag, a creator goodie bag, and so that's going to have a lot more full-size products and sometimes multiple products from the same brand and things like that to try. So I only got the bag in San Francisco when I went to the cocktail party, and I'm actually going to tell you that story of why I did not get one the year I went in LA. I'm a little salty about this, not gonna lie, but I think ultimately it was just an event that maybe wasn't planned as well as it could be, but Ipsy has learned from their mistakes, and I actually made some great friends out of the kerfuffle, so ended up okay. So I was going to GenBeauty that year with my friend Miss Lee, and we were rooming together and going over and everything. So anyway, we had to catch an Uber over to where the cocktail party was in the IpsyOS studios, and originally we were going to go a little early, but we were just running late and we didn't end up going early. I think we ended up getting there about 15 minutes late. And so even in that, we were worried of how long it was going to take to get in the door, because we weren't sure if there was going to be a line. And there was a line. We ended up standing in line for like an hour, and I was wearing high heels, and I hate high heels, so my feet were killing me by the time I even got in the door, which was not fun. But, you know, I met some people in line, whatever. So one thing I did notice when we did get in the door is they said that they were out of tickets to get the creator swag bag. So what turned out happening is when they originally sent out the creator party invitation, they sent it out to everybody, I guess, and they didn't think that everybody was going to RSVP, or even a lot of the RSVPs were going to come, I guess. So they had, I don't even know how many gift bags they had, maybe like 400, 500, I don't know. It was like jam-packed in there, lots of people. And so what happened was they just ran out, and I felt kind of annoyed at it, because like when I'd RSVP'd, it said guaranteed swag bag, but you know, I try to like kind of, you know, calm myself down, think about, it's like, okay, fine, I was late, whatever. And it wasn't about going and getting the stuff. It was just kind of a letdown, because I thought I was going to go and I was going to be like, ooh, big creator VIP. Not like a big creator, but you know, when you work on a YouTube channel for like 3 or 4 years, sometimes it can be frustrating when you're not growing as fast as you want to, or you originally thought you would. That's just the reality of being on YouTube, and ultimately subscribers don't matter anyway, but sometimes I let that get to my head. I'm tangenting. Hi, Miss Lee. How's it going? Did you hear I'm talking about the GenBeauty LA swag bag kerfuffle? I mentioned you. So anyway, Miss Lee and I ended up going in and, talking to a bunch of people. They had some good food, and I actually met a few people at that party inside that I actually still stay in touch a little bit with, see their stuff on Instagram. They, like my stuff back, stuff like that. So then afterwards, I've done event planning in the past. So, and I've also been in customer service. So I know that you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So what I thought would be a good idea is at the end, we would just go out and, politely say, hey, we didn't get a swag bag. We, understand, but if we can hang around, if there are any extras, we'd really appreciate getting a swag bag, just in case. And so, we were sitting there being really polite. Now there were another group of girls that were there, and it's not that they weren't being polite, but they were being a little bit more vocal than me and Miss Lee were, in my opinion. At the same time, we had been promised when we first got the email that there was a guaranteed swag bag, and then they kind of said later, it's well, until supplies run out. But then when we asked what the supplies were, nobody would answer, so it was really hard to get a straight answer. So anyway, there was me and Miss Lee and then a group of other girls that were hanging out. And so, we were hanging out and chatting and whatever. And I wasn't the person who actually heard it, but apparently one of the other girls heard some of the Ipsy employees saying that we were vultures and we were just trying to take advantage of them and we were only there for the stuff and stuff like that. So that really rubbed us the wrong way, to be perfectly honest. And I was not impressed. Miss Lee heard it. Okay. I don't think I heard it. And they were definitely rude to me when I asked them a couple times. And then the icing on the cake for the whole thing is finally they're called us scavengers. Okay. Scavengers. I'm repeating some of the things that are being said, by the way, because I don't think the comments that pop up now are going to go in the final stream of this. So if anyone's watching it back. So Miss Lee says they were calling us scavengers. So finally, they told us that we had to go away, that we weren't getting a swag bag, and they were kind of rude about it too. And I wish they hadn't been rude, but the icing on the cake is that there was a pile of the Creator swag bags inside, a big pile, 50 to 100 swag bags. And they just started moving them to another room. You could see through the window very clearly. And they were trying to tell us there weren't enough, they ran out and all this sort of thing. Now, if they had I don't know. I'm guessing that they were trying to put those bags, give them to the volunteers, which I get. I've volunteered for events before, and as a volunteer, it's really nice when you get recognized for what you're doing. You can't get paid money, but you get paid in products to try or, different experiences, stuff like that. But it was just really, the way they handled it, saying they were all out, and then they had this huge bag right inside the window, really rubbed me the wrong way. So me and the other girls ended up calling an Uber. And I don't even know, I don't know who called it, how it arrived. It was a big van. I was getting in this car with people I didn't know, with an Uber I didn't call. I literally thought I was going to be kidnapped. I was scared for my life. But at the same time, I knew they were creators and I wanted to make new friends, and it was kind of peer pressure in a way. So we're we were going and, talking, and we were mad. So, we were just kind of shooting the shit and oh, how dare they? I'll let you do when you're mad. He was just outside. No one called the Uber. That's even creepier. That is so creepy. So anyway, I was in there, literally in this van, texting my sister, what's going on? This is my password to find my phone. If I don't respond, call the police. This is what's going on. And looking back at it, I kind of feel stupid, but at the same time, it was scary. But everything did turn out okay. We ended up going to a Airbnb that those girls had been renting in downtown LA, where we met another girl that they were rooming with who they didn't get to go with, Val, Flesh Diaries. I hope she's okay with me saying her name. I think she does. Anyway, so we ended up hanging out there a little bit, and then me and Miss Lee decided to go back to our hotel. So then the next day we just ended up meeting up with them at GenBeauty, and then Kimberly, who I've mentioned a few times, ended up joining with us because she was friends with Valerie. Okay, Valerie does say her name, good. And so that's how I met Kimberly. So as I said, I did make some good friends out of the whole situation, but we were not happy with the whole situation. And then they're like, well, you know, to make it up to you, we're going to give you like free Ipsy bags for a year. And then they said we were going to get extra, hey Jordan, they said we were going to get extra GenBeauty like swag bags or something like that. It was just a huge mess. But I think they have learned their lesson. When I did go in San Francisco, it was a lot more selective. I actually almost did not get a creator party invite when I went to GenBeauty in San Francisco. I was, if we never had that swag bag, yes, exactly, that's what I'm saying, Miss Lee. If we hadn't had that all happen, we would not have met Valerie and Kimberly. So I'm happy it happened in the long run, but it definitely makes a good story. It's another thing maybe I should do a dedicated video on, be a little bit less rambly about the whole thing. But as I said, they have gotten everything together a lot more since then. In San Francisco, Valerie and Kimber got their invitations to the creator party because at that point in time they were Glow members, and so they had priority. And then I forget if you just got one, Miss Lee, or if you emailed them asking about it, but I hadn't gotten one like a week before or something like that. And I was expecting to just, you know, be home in the hotel or whatever, just chilling. And I actually had mixed feelings about it because on one hand, I wanted to go to the creator cocktail party, but on the other hand, on those trips like that, I'm an introvert. I like to have my own space. And so it's kind of hard for me to be around people constantly throughout a whole weekend. So it's kind of hard. And so on the other hand, I was like, ooh, like an evening to myself, that would be really nice. At that point, I'd already been there for like, what, 1 or 2 days because we went a couple days early. But so I emailed Ipsy and they're like, well, don't do this again, but here's your ticket. So I ended up getting a ticket to the creator party, and there, because they were a lot more not selective, but they just didn't have as many spots, they made sure to have swag bags for everybody. So we didn't have to worry about that there. And I met a lot of cool people there and got to say hi to some other friends that I hadn't seen for a while. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's my GenBeauty story / ramble / whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer some more questions. You can go ahead and ask them here. Otherwise, I will just go down the list. Let's see. And there are a lot of questions, by the way, that people have asked me about how I started on YouTube and stuff like that. And as I said, I'm going to be doing a more expanded video about that in the future. I want to put it together a lot better. Yes, I agree, Miss Lee. The San Francisco party was organized much, much better. So, oh, bye, Miss Lee. I hope you have a good day. Drive safe. Let's see. So the next question on the list is from someone from Colorado Springs. I got most of these questions from my back to school giveaway, and so some of them were submitted in a way that I didn't get a name or I couldn't find a first name. So this particular person asks, do you have any kids? No, I don't have kids. I have 2 cats, but I don't really think that counts. They're my fur babies, but at the same time, they're cats and not kids. I'm not a person who treats my cats like they're kids and, you know, gets them, I don't know. But yeah, no kids. Someday, hopefully, but not now. Let's see. Diana asks, oh my goodness, I like clicked or something. Asks what's my favorite animal. Cats are probably one of my favorite animals. I'm also a huge fan of owls. I just think they're really cool. I like them forever. Butterflies, I like them as well, but I hate moths. No moths. What is your favorite thing to do? And that's asked by Abby. YouTube is one of my favorite things to do. I like watching Netflix and TV. I know that's kind of like cliche. I love playing Pokemon games. I am a 10-year-old tomboy at heart, which is funny because I have a beauty and lifestyle YouTube channel. Right now I am trying to catch all of the Pokemon, and I have like a spreadsheet that I'm using to keep track of everything, and yeah, that's a lot of fun. I can spend hours doing that at a time, so I try not to let myself do that too often. And then I'm also doing a kind of like modified Wonderlock of Alpha Sapphire. In case you're not sure what that is, so Alpha Sapphire is one of the games that came out like 3 years ago, and a Wonderlock is kind of a modified set of rules to make the games a little bit harder. So basically, you can catch one Pokemon in each area you get to in the game, and then you have to immediately trade it on this thing called Wonder Trade, where you just randomly get paired up with somebody. And then that Pokemon that you get on the Wonder Trade is what you have to use. So it's actually, I've gotten some Pokemon that I've never used before. It's been really cool. And then theoretically, you're supposed to, if it gets knocked out in battle, you're supposed to call it like dead and release it, or not use it anymore, but I'm not playing with that rule. And then theoretically, you're supposed to name all your Pokemon before you trade them, but I hate nicknaming, so I don't. So kind of like a modified thing. So I've been doing that. What else do I like to do? I think that's it. Stickers. I'm really into stickers for my planner. I was actually thinking about doing a live plan with me, maybe like next weekend. I'm thinking about maybe doing like a live stream every Sunday. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but I can kind of switch off between like a get ready with me, just like a hang out and chill, Ask Teph. That's kind of what this is, like hang out, chill, Ask Teph, whatever. And I can do plan with me's or anything else we can come up with. Let's see, next question is from an unknown person in Bronx, New York. My mom grew up in the Bronx. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that on the internet, but what else? What is your favorite type of lip color? I personally love mauve lip colors, kind of like the one I'm wearing right here. For long wearing lipsticks, I really like these Jouer lip creams. In fact, they're the only long wearing lipsticks I've ever worn that are actually long wearing. If I'm not wearing a long wearing lipstick, something, pretty simple like this, like a cream with a little bit of a shine is great. I think this one's actually by NYX, and I should probably throw it out because I think I bought it in high school, which was like 10 years ago. Yeah, oops. But yeah, that's kind of my favorite type of lip products. That being said, I'm really lazy when it comes to reapplying lip products. So I wear lip products when I'm filming, obviously, and then usually when I'm doing makeup, which I haven't really done recently since being sick, but when I do wear makeup, I typically put on a lip color first thing, and then I don't reapply throughout the day, and I just put gloss or lip balm on my lips throughout the day, so it ends up being like nude lips. Can you hear that? We have the ice cream truck coming up the road, except I have ice cream in the freezer, so I do not need ice cream from the ice cream truck. And in case you're wondering, I have strawberry and I have Java fudge swirl. Yes. Probably should eat up the Java fudge swirl or whatever that is pretty soon, because otherwise it's going to get freezer burnt. It's been in there for a while. Let's see. How long have you been into makeup? Asks Christy. Great question. So I want to do a video on this, and I've been thinking about that for a while. I just haven't figured out how I'm going to structure this video. Filmed it like 3 times and I just haven't liked how it's turned out. So the short answer is I got really into makeup and actually started learning how to do makeup in college. Specifically, I think it was my second year in college. My first year at the college that I actually graduated from, because I ended up going to one school and then switching after 1 year. And I was just on YouTube. I randomly discovered X Sparkage's videos back then she did a lot of really bright eye looks, which I really loved. And so I just had the most fun time watching her videos. And at the time, I was a really poor college student, so I did not have a lot of money for makeup. Like, it was to the point, I mean, now I kind of laugh at it myself, but it's true. Like, I had to legitimately save up for like 2 months just to get eye primer. And back then it was pretty much Urban Decay Primer Potion or Too Faced Shadow Insurance were the big ones. You could like find a couple in the drugstore, but not very many. But yeah, I remember I saved up for that, and I was so excited when I got it because I'd always had this problem when I did wear makeup of the eyeshadow creasing, because I have oily lids, and that just got right rid of it. So that was really awesome. And then I also did a lot of experimentation with dollar store makeup and cheap drugstore makeup. And then this is before you could find NYX in stores, but I got some of the cheaper NYX products. Specifically, I think they're now called the pigments, but back then they had, what were they called? I forget what they were called, but you know, like the shimmery NYX pigments. And so you could get a little container of that for, I think it was $2 back in the day. I think now they're like $5, but even that's pretty good. So I have a bunch of those. I depotted them and put them in little containers. What I do is I buy it, and there was enough for me to depot half into a thing for me and half into a little container for my sister M. So I did that for, I think it was Christmas one year, and I bought like a bunch of little jars for like $5 on eBay. So I need to press those actually now because I don't really use loose shadows anymore, but I loved loose shadows back in the day. And then my makeup addiction just kind of spiraled from there. One summer I worked at Netflix, and I was suddenly making more money than I'd ever made. I was making $13 an hour, and I was living at home with my parents during the summer. So I went a little crazy and bought a lot of makeup. And then when I graduated college, I got a job, and since then it's been a lot easier for me to buy makeup. But now I'm in this situation where I have a lot of makeup, and I almost feel like I have one of everything. Hi Amy, how's it going? Thanks for joining. So yeah, that's how that goes. And then I've had some other experimental periods with makeup earlier than that, but that's really when I say that I got into makeup in college. Cupcake asks, what's a good beginner makeup palette? Let's see. I feel like if you can still find it and you want to spend the money on it, the Lorac Beauty and the Beast palette is a good makeup palette, but that one's a little bit more pricey because it has some good neutrals, but also some brighter colors, which is a lot of fun. Basically, let's see, I'm trying to think. I would say that the Naked palettes are also a good option. I know there's like the Heat and the Smoky. I wouldn't worry about either of those if you're a beginner. Again, those are a little bit more expensive. Oh, and you also have to be a little bit wary of fallout, but what I do like about them is they have a lot of good basic colors. I personally like the Naked 3 because it's all rose gold tones, and that tends to work better with my skin. Basically, Naked 1 is warmer toned, Naked 2 is cooler toned, and Naked 3 is rose gold. So you don't have to get all three, but if you want a higher end option, that is a good one to go with. If you just want to look at different palettes, and kind of figure out what you want from there, kind of the formula that I think of when I think of a good palette for anything, whether it's a beginner or a travel palette or something like that, is you want a good highlight color for your brow bone. So you want that to be a little bit lighter than your natural skin tone. Obviously, I'm super pale, so I usually use an off-white. I don't like white because that stands out too much, but an off-white. Obviously, if you have a darker skin tone than me, then you are going to have to use a darker color. So adjust that color to your skin tone. Then you need something that's a little darker than your skin tone to use as a crease or a blending color. And then a color that is either like a neutral color, like a pink or a purple, or something that's just a tiny bit darker than your skin tone that's more of a beige for a lid color. And that's like your very basic, bare bones, like what you need for eyeshadow. And obviously you don't have to do like a 3-color, but that's what I think as like a full eyeshadow look. My definition of a little bit of makeup is most people's definition of a lot of makeup. So that's just that's kind of how I am with makeup. And then from there, it's just kind of playing. You can get a deeper color to use on like the outer little bit of your eye, or you can play around with colors from there. The Dollar Tree is a great place to get makeup if you want a colorful makeup. However, you have to go fairly often, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, because the dollar store inventory changes out quite a bit. But I found, you know, some fun stuff there. Oh, you're not from the US, Cupcake. Okay, so if you have a dollar store locally, you can try that. I know a lot of countries do. Let's see. I think it's L'Oreal that has palettes that are really similar to the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I've never tried them, but I've heard really good things about them. So you can definitely try those. Those are a very good drugstore alternative. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Wet n Wild shadows are okay. They aren't my favorite, but what I like about them is they typically come in a tricolor if you have those in your country. However, they do have some that are kind of crazy and some that are a lot more wearable. So just be careful not to get bright colors if you're a complete beginner. Typically, if you're a beginner, I recommend against getting single shadows just because they tend to be a lot more expensive in general. If you have NYX in your area, or you can order NYX online, that's another great option. They have a lot of really fun shadows there. Yay, Canada! Actually, I've never really been to Canada, and when I say I've never really been to Canada, I've been to Canada once, but it was to get on a cruise ship up to Alaska. It was like 15 years ago, so I basically just saw the border and the docks, so I can't really count it, but I'd love to go to Canada someday. I live right by the other Vancouver, Washington. I have actually never tried poutine. I've heard really good things about it, and I've heard really interesting things about it. I definitely want to try it one day though. It's like one of those dishes that, like, I feel like you just kind of like have to like have it to really get to like have the full culinary experience of going to a country. We just don't have it around here. Poutine, I take that back. I found it once at a food truck, but I didn't get it, and I just haven't been near that food truck lately. Let's see. I've heard that like real Canadian maple syrup is like amazing and is so much better than American maple syrup, so that's another one I want to try from Canada. Let's see what else. I went to yeah, of course. When I was a teenager, I went to Hungary and Romania, and I don't remember the names of the foods that I ate there, but I definitely ate some traditional Hungarian food while I was there. Not as much in traditional Romanian food, but that was a lot of fun. I'm a picky eater though, so it's always interesting when I travel because it's like, oh, that looks good, but I don't want it with that and that and that. And when you're in a foreign country and you can't speak the language, it's really hard to order without things on it or to tell what you're getting. So that always makes traveling interesting for me. I was going somewhere with all of that. I forget. If you want to remind me, go there. If you ever visit America, I'm about to. Oh, if I ever, yes. Oh my goodness, the food is so fattening here. It's okay. So as far as fast food goes, if you come to the U.S., there's some fast food that, like, you know, if you don't have a McDonald's in your country, for instance, and I know they're all over the world, like, go to McDonald's once for the experience, but the fast food isn't, and McDonald's isn't very good in my opinion, but they're like good, like one step up from fast food places that I highly recommend. As far as like the like really cheap fast food places, Wendy's is probably my favorite. And then as far as like the one step up, I love Chipotle. So good. Around here we have Five Guys, which is like a really, really good burger place. I hear them compared to In-N-Out a lot, but we don't have In-N-Out around here, so I can't really compare it to In-N-Out. Do I only speak English? Yes, I do only speak English. I took 2.5 years of Japanese in high school. I've forgotten most of it. I remember basically enough so that if I go to Japan, I won't embarrass myself or offend anybody too badly, and if I do, I can apologize. Konnichiwa. Oh my goodness. Now I feel like I should oh my goodness. It's been a long time. Even when I watch anime, I watch it dubbed, so I don't even get to hear some of it through that. When I watch anime, I typically watch more of the fantasy anime anyway, so you don't get a lot of the actual phrases. About 10 years ago, I tried to watch Digimon in Japanese and go through and translate it, and there were just so many words that were made up specifically for Digimon, or were maybe specialized words that weren't in the Japanese English dictionary I was using, that after one episode I basically gave up. I finally figured out, what was it? Shinka was what is translated to Digivolve in the US. Because I do love Digimon. I did love Digimon. I haven't watched it lately, obviously. It's like a lot more of a kid's show in the US. I hear it's a little bit more, like, it's still a kid's show in Japan, but I hear it's a little bit less corny. Let's see. Other animes, if you're interested. Do you like horror movies? No, I do not like horror movies. That being said, there are a couple of things in the horror genre that I like. Once a year, or roughly once a year, sometimes I miss a year, I watch Stephen King's Rose Red. I was very briefly into horror when I was in high school, and I watched that miniseries and I loved it, and even though I know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to end, it still creeps the hell out of me every time I watch it. But at this point, in some ways, it's kind of a tradition. So I watched that. Oh, how is it? Yeah, I'm not going to be seeing it in the movie theaters. I hope it was good. My sister loves horror movies though. So yeah, she can watch those without me. Yeah. And then there are a couple of like books that technically fall into the horror genre that I like, but I don't really think of them as horror. Like Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children technically falls in the horror genre, apparently. I guess I can see how the last one would. If you haven't read that trilogy, by the way, it's so good. Very, very good. I know there was a movie. Let's see. Yes. So here's the thing. So the movie for Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children, for what it wasn't a bad movie, but it went in a completely different direction than the book was. And I loved how dark the last one got. I love finding out about the back end workings of different worlds, and like not necessarily seeing them fall apart like a lot of dystopias have, but just seeing how they work. And so it was so cool. Like the last book was definitely my favorite book, and even in that series, like usually you hear people talk about middle book syndrome, where the middle book in a trilogy is not very good. I feel like each of them got better as you go on, because the first one had to cover so much, like this is the world, this is what it's doing, and so it just looked like, you know, it's like this whimsical thing, and yeah, there's some scary stuff at the end, but standard adventure. And then you get into the second one, and then the third one, you're like, whoa, that took a left turn, and it's awesome. So yeah, highly recommend. For anyone who may be watching now or watching the replay and has not watched Miss Peregrine's School for or read Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children. But yeah, I don't really see why that one was horror necessarily. I don't know what I'd call it though. Trying to think. When I was a kid, I was really into ghost stories more than like horror. Like, I don't know, like scary stuff, I guess, more than like the horror like genre, like books. I mean, I think my favorite author was Jean Belair's, I think is his name. I haven't looked up his stuff in a while. If I'd actually been looking at my computer screen when the comment popped up, I would have jumped. I just like kind of looked, it's like, oh, corner of the eye. Okay. But yeah, like as a kid, I really loved his books. I'm trying to think if I've read or listened to anything scary lately. I mean, it's not technically scary, but right now I am reading the manga Soul Eater. I've seen the anime a few times, but the anime ends before the story ends, and I want to see how the story ends. So starting at the beginning of the manga, because sometimes the manga is different than the anime, and I want to make sure I get the differences. Now, that is not necessarily horror. Very, very good series, by the way. I think it's on both Netflix and Hulu, at least in the US. I don't know about other countries, but I would highly recommend it. It's very good. So it's not horror, but the stylization is very like, almost like horror and Halloween-ish, if that makes sense. The manga also is not necessarily more mature in the plot, but more mature in the pictures. There are a few things that I'm pretty sure they put more clothes on the characters in the anime, so just if you're gonna read the manga, be aware of that. But it is quite good. So right now I'm on manga number 3, I think. Manga number 4. So I'm excited about that. I read number 3 yesterday, and then I read a little bit of number 4, and then I'll probably, after this, I'll take off this makeup and then go lie down and read. Yeah. Let's see. I guess what perfume or what platform I read it as perfume. I'm thinking because we don't put an E on platform in the US. What platform are you most present on? Probably YouTube and Snapchat right now. I'd like to be more present on Twitter and Instagram, but I'm not very good at it. I've been trying my best to Snapchat every day. I haven't been doing a very good job of it, especially because my life is really boring right now. So yeah, I guess technically it would be Snapchat. It takes a lot more to put a YouTube video together. Oh, I'm glad you love my snaps. As I said, I was kind of worried that like it's always just like my face talking about things. But I really feel like Snapchat is a great way to just like really quickly say like, hey guys, how's it going? Here's what's on my mind. Here's what's going on. And traditional YouTube videos, not that I don't like them, obviously. I'm a YouTuber and that's how I got started. But just, you know, you put them together. Hi Angelise, how's it doing? How's it doing? How's it going? Thanks for joining. So YouTube, just by the nature of it, like videos tend to be a lot more produced, whereas Snapchat is just a lot more like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, kind of like this. Just one of the reasons why I want to do more live streams, because it's just a lot of fun to hang out. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say on that. Let's see, I'll just keep going down the list. Let's see, what do you do when you're bored? I think I kind of answered that when I answered what are your favorite things to do? YouTube, watch TV, Pokemon. Those are the big ones. Call my friends. Talk to my sister. We're really close. Me and my sister. Her name's Em, by the way. She pops up every so often in my videos. I want her to do a video with me when she comes home for Christmas break. We'll see. So Shannon asks, what is your favorite way to pamper yourself? That is a great question. So I love sheet masks. They're the easiest like mask ever because you don't have to worry about washing them off or doing anything like that. You just slap it on, you take it off, rub the serum in, you're good to go. So that's a lot of fun. I love when I'm in the right mood taking long, hot showers. I'm not always in the mood for that, but when I am, I love it. I also love getting manicures or pedicures, but I don't do that very often. I probably get a pedicure once or twice a year. And then a manicure. I go through stages. When I have acrylics on, which I don't right now, I go a few times, and then so I usually go like 4 or 5 times, and then I get the acrylics off, and then I don't go until I get them back on again, which is usually 2 to 3 years. So I think it was Maria. Hi Arby, how's it going? I think it was Maria that just asks, have I used clay masks? Yes, I have used clay face masks, and I like the effects that they have on my skin, but again, I'm a lazy person when it comes down to it, and it's just a pain in the butt. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I was still live after that. Let me pull things up on my end. can see the screen again. Sorry, someone called me. I'm sorry about that. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and it was actually my mom who called me, so I guess she must have called twice in 3 minutes, so I hope it's not a huge emergency. Fortunately, she does not have an iPhone, so I can't, oh my goodness. I can't iMessage her on my computer. I probably should finish up pretty soon though, because I'd planned on doing this for like an hour and it's getting pretty long. By the way, as far as the clay masks that I like, I recently got the new Sephora collection clay masks, I'm really excited to try. So I'll do that soonish. And then there's also like the green one in the tube that you can get from the drugstore. I like that one too. So RB, what I do with my free time, I do YouTube. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, so it's a hobby sort of thing. And then I like watching TV, spending time with my cats. I like playing the Pokemon games, chatting and hanging out with friends. So nothing too exciting, but that's my life. Let's see. Going down the list again that I have, someone from Manchester, England asks, how many cats do you have? I have 2 cats. I think that, let's see, I think Opal, if I can see, I think Opal's back on the bed. Let's see, that way. I can only kind of see her. So I think she's lying on the bed. And then Coco, my other cat, is up there. She's a tabby, and then Opal is a black cat. They pop up in my videos from time to time, so they haven't come and bothered me during this yet. So, but maybe you'll see them later. If you watch my videos, let's see. From the list, Bethany asks, did you enjoy school and did you struggle with any subjects? I had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with school. There wasn't any part of school that I actively hated, but I take that back. There were some subjects that I actively hated, but there was nothing that like ever made me like really want to skip class or anything like that. For the most part, at least in high school, I didn't have to put in too much effort to get good grades, so it wasn't a huge deal. In college, I really struggled with stats. Hated stats, but I had to take it. Okay, and I think I'm going to do 2 more questions. I'm going to take them from you guys instead of taking them from the list. Because I feel like you guys should be able to do that. Let's see, it is 1:58, so if I haven't gotten any more questions by 2 o'clock, then I will just have to go because, as I said, it's been about an hour, and I do want to give my mom a call back just in case it was important. So, I'm waiting on you guys. I feel like it came unfocused from me. That's okay. It's only going to be a couple minutes anyway. It was fun to talk with you too, Cupcake. Thank you so much for joining. It was a lot of fun. I hope I can do this more often. It's a lot easier to just like sit down and do a live stream and hang out and chat versus doing like a get ready with me, and even that's like less than doing a video, less work. Cat's moving. Ooh, let me see if I can get one over. Boo! Booba! They both respond to boo or booba. Okay, I don't think that's gonna work. Coco! Coco boo! Coco! Coco! She's staring at me like, what do you want? Coco, come here, boo. I'll give you a treat. I don't have the treat right here, but I'll give it to you. She's just blinking at me. Opal! Sorry, no kitty cuteness, guys. They don't want to. Oh, I think we might have a Coco. Oh, here we go. Ah, here's Coco. She does not like when I grab her. Hey! Fine. So, hey, say hi to YouTube. does not like to be picked up at all, as you can see. She puts up with it sometimes. She likes to be pet more than Opal does, and she's fluffier than Opal. Opal, on the other hand, will put up with being picked up. She does not like to be pet as much, but she likes to be with me more. And usually if I'm sitting at my desk trying to do anything and there's a cat bothering me, 9 times out of 10 it's Opal. Alrighty guys, so it is 2:01, and so I think we are going to call it a day. Thank you to everyone who's here, who joined in. It was a lot of fun. I would love, phone moved. I would love for you to let me know at some point if you want me to do one of these again. I know a couple of you guys already said you had a good time, but you know, if you have any other questions or any other suggestions on what I should do with the live stream, I would really appreciate it, and I hope to do more of these soon because this is a ton of fun. All right, babes, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Let's see.